Hey guys, it's Chris. From members of the Order that you didn't expect to certain tools that they used, join me as I reveal 8 things you didn't know about samurai. Number 8. Tameshigiri. In feudal Japan, the weapons that dominated the area were bows and arrows and, of course, the famous sword. For samurai, that sword was the legendary katana, which are still made to this day. However, a samurai would not go into battle until they knew that the sword was not just made right, but was sharp enough to cut through most things that they would come across. Save for armor, obviously. To prove the sword's power, a test cut would be done, also known as Tameshigiri. The test cut would be performed by a skilled swordsman. That way, if the sword failed, it would clearly be the blade's fault and not the warrior's. But what would they cut through to test the blade? Well, that depends on the person who made the sword and the person who bought it. Oftentimes, it would be something as simple as straw or thick bamboo. If a more lifelike test was done, they would bring in thin sheets of steel. Or if they truly wanted to emulate battle, they would bring in a human cadaver and cut right through it. There were also cases where the sword would be tested on convicted criminals, and the sword test would be their execution. To be clear though, this was rarely done, though it did happen. Number 7. Not all samurai were honorable. History has an interesting way of adjusting what really happened in the world, and the samurai are no different. When you picture a samurai, you no doubt picture the honorable warrior who fights for his lord or emperor, as not all served the shogun directly depending on the time period, and they followed the code of Bushido, but that wasn't always the case. There have been many times where the samurai have been anything but honorable, such as during the Sengoku period, which was between 1467 and 1600. This was a time when chaos was going throughout Japan, and the samurai knew that to survive they needed to hone their skills. And if they couldn't find an enemy to test those skills on, they would find a random person and do it to them. This became known as Chojujiri, or crossroads killing. Sometimes, though, it wouldn't even be done in the name of practice. It would be done in the name of honor, such as a passerby insulting the samurai. During the time, the samurai would have a servant with them, and as long as the servant heard the person insulting the samurai like a witness, the samurai wouldn't be punished for the death. Thankfully for all of Japan, order was brought back to the land, and by 1602, the practice was banned. Anyone who did it would then be put to death, so it was important for everyone to keep up with the times. Number 6. The personalization of armor. The samurai class of warrior are one of the most famous in history, but they are also one of the most unique. While many other warriors had similar garb and armor in terms of function and appearance, the samurai did things a little differently. True, if you look at the various samurai armors of history, you'll see a lot of similarities. But you'll also notice that many of them don't look the same. This is because the culture of Japan all but dictated that every suit of armor not only be custom made for each warrior, but custom designed in terms of its ornaments, or even the colors and threads that were used. If you were a high-born samurai, you would often have silk used to tie everything together. And if your family had a symbol, custom-made pieces were built into the armor with it. Sometimes this process would take weeks or months for a single piece. But to the samurai, that didn't matter. It mattered that on the battlefield, everyone saw exactly who he or she was. The kabuto, the helmet, the chest pieces, even the skirt and leg pieces at times were all customized to fit the warrior. The type of material used in the armor evolved over time, but the style and personal touches transcended whatever period the samurai were in. Number 5. There were female samurai. If you were to look up pictures of samurai, either from real life or from Hollywood depictions of them, you would see pretty much all men in the role. This is in line with Japan's early cultural feelings about women, about how they were second, to quote a James Bond film, compared to men. And by that token, you would think that the samurai class and rank would be something that women could never achieve. But history's always full of surprises and things you don't expect. While not really mentioned in history books, there were a group of female samurai. Known as the Unabugeisha, this term translates to female martial artist. These were women who were truly samurai, as they were part of the Bushi class that they were born into. And like the male warriors, they were trained in all manner of combat to fight alongside the male samurai in times of war. Now you might be curious, why have we never heard of this? And as the saying goes, history is written by the victors, but also the authors, who likely didn't want to glorify the women of Japan, despite their sacrifice in the field of battle. The true proof of this, though, comes from the remains of ancient battlefields. The Battle of SENBON MATSUBARU in 1580, for example, left many bodies of dead samurai warriors, and 35 of those bodies were found to be female. Some of the legendary warriors of the Onabu Geisha include Tomo Gozen, Nakano Teikako, and Hojo Masako. I bet these women would have had a ton of stories to share. Number 4. Samurai marriages. Honor was a big thing for the samurai in most periods, and sometimes maintaining that honor meant going and getting married. But how they got married and who they got married to was dependent on the samurai and their family. Most samurai marriages were actually arranged marriages. Oftentimes, the samurai would marry a woman from another samurai family. While it may sound odd for an arranged marriage to happen during this period, it was honestly because the samurai traveled across the country, and thus couldn't go out and just meet women on a regular basis. So in a way, this was a neater way of meeting a woman and marrying her, especially since another person, usually a person of same or higher rank of the samurai in question, would set everything up. However, a samurai could go and marry a common woman. The catch, though, is that the woman would actually have to pay for that honor. This money would be used as a dowry to ensure that the couple had a home to call their own. All that being said, a husband had much more control over the marriage than the woman, including having many reasons available to him to divorce her. Though weirdly, given the circumstances, divorce in samurai marriages were often very rare. Number 3. Not all samurai were from Japan. Now, while it is fair to say that 99.5% of all samurai that existed in the world were from Japan, as that was part of their tradition and code, there were a few cases in which people from other countries were allowed to have the honor of becoming a samurai in name and in practice. One of the first was a man from Africa named Yasuke, who came to Japan in 1579 as a servant to the Italian Jesuit. A warlord named Oda Nobunaka saw potential in him and gave him a sword, land, and training. The two fought together in battle, and he was given the title of samurai, and to this day is the only African samurai known to the world. Others who gained this honor include adventurer William Adams and his colleague Jan Joosten van Lodenstein, Navy officer Eugene Kolachi, and arms dealer Edward Schnell. The reason such an event in regards to a foreigner becoming a samurai was rare was that you had to be in a certain position of power to decree and enforce such an act, such as being a lord of a land or the Shogun, the ruler of feudal Japan. Number 2. Who were the Ronin? A samurai had many duties and roles within feudal Japan, but the most important above all was that of protecting one's master. Should they fail in that regard, they were told to kill themselves, as this was the code of Bushido. However, not all samurai could do that, and they became Ronin, or samurai without a master. Should one take this path, they were told that they were on their own. They would receive no support, no help, no guidance, and have no honor. A bit harsh? Well, yes, but the Ronin weren't out of work for long. Ronin were still trained samurai, and so they got hired as bodyguards, mercenaries, and even proper samurai during certain points of conflict in feudal history. But some stories of Ronin are heroic, such as the Group 47 Ronin, of which many movies have been made about them. Many Ronin embraced their honorless persona and became harsh, often attacking people for no reason other than their own pleasure, since they had nothing else to lose. You would think that the lords of Japan would try and stop the number of Ronin from growing, but because of certain events, the number actually increased greatly. However, there were those who tried to be a Ronin and couldn't bear the shame, so they followed the code of Bushido after some time, as they were humiliated and mocked openly by many. Ronin had to be tough. Number 1. Samurai and ninja used similar weapons. The samurai were some of the fiercest warriors in history, but they were also the creators of their deadliest foes, the ninja. The ninja were common folk, a direct opposite to the higher-born men and women who became samurai, and weren't afraid to use all manner of dirty tricks and tactics to combat the samurai's more honorable traits. However, despite being polar opposites in various ways, the samurai and ninja both understood the value of a good weapon, and if you look at their arsenal, you'll see a lot of similar weapons in both sets. A great example is the black eggs, or metsubashi. They were hollowed-out eggs laced with various substances to help blind opponents. Ninjas would use this to assist in their escape by blinding the samurai. But the samurai also used this weapon, but not against the ninja. They would use it in their roles as a police force to help disperse riots. Then there's the katana, which was the main sword used during the periods that samurai and ninja existed. The ninja were more than happy to use these well-made swords against their foes. And later on, they actually adapted them to make the ninjato short sword. Either way though, the samurai and the ninja were more alike than they cared to admit. Thanks for watching. Did you learn something new about samurai? I know I did. You know something special about samurai that maybe we missed? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and I'll see you next time.